After 60 years of Fidel and Raul Castro, Cuba has a new president, Miguel Diaz-Canel. Who is he, what challenges does he face, and what does this mean for the future of more than 11 million Cubans? Vamos, let's go to Cuba! Okay, so slight technical problem, we couldn't get our visas, so we're just gonna do it here. First off, in Cuba's election, the people don't directly vote for the president. It doesn't work like that. The country has one party, the Communist Party, referred to as Castro's Partido Unido de la Revolución Socialista de Cuba. Sounds cool, eh? So around a month ago, the party published 2 official lists of candidates for the national and provincial assemblies. Those lists are then approved or disapproved by the people. The vote takes place every 5 years as a symbolic show of unity in the face of US hostility. Around a month ago, over 7 million Cubans elected 605 parliamentarians who selected the Council of State, composed of a president, a first vice president, 5 vice presidents, a secretary, and 23 members. The Council State, which is essentially the executive branch, is made up of social organizations of workers, students, women, and peasants.
An interesting fact about the parliamentary system in Cuba is that it is now made up of 322 female delegates, which makes up 53.2% of the total seats, making Cuba the country with the second highest percentage of women representatives in parliament, after Rwanda.
Rwanda?
Rwanda, that's right, not the US, UK, France, or any other Western democracy.
Power to the chicas.
Chicas.
And finally, on April 19th, the party voted for Miguel Diaz-Canel to replace the 86-year-old Raul Castro. Cuba's new leader has kept an extremely low public profile over the years, which is probably why you haven't heard of him. Before his appointment, he was governor of the central Villa Clara province, described as a hard-working, modest-living technocrat dedicated to improving public services. He became Minister of Education in 2009, before he became Vice President. The only time Diaz has been caught slipping was in a leaked video of a Communist Party meeting where he said that he would shut down some independent media and labeled some European embassies as posts for foreign spies. Nevertheless, in the same meeting, he defended academics and bloggers who became targets of hardliners. So, a bit of censorship, but a bit of justice. We see what he does. Cuba was once referred to as the jewel of the Caribbean. But after 60 years of revolution, communism, and US sanctions, the country is far from its glory days. So Miguel Diaz will have to address 3 major issues. The first is the economy, a high priority. 3 out of 4 Cubans work in the state-run bureaucracy. State-run businesses are still highly unproductive and subsidized. State salaries are about $30 a month, and many still depend on remittances to feed their families. Added to all of that, Hurricane Irma left in its wake 12 billion worth of damages on the island. So Miguel Diaz will need to modernize the economy and introduce market reforms. He will also need to find a replacement for the decreasing aid from his close ally Venezuela. Which brings us to the second point, which is relations with the US. Despite Obama's hallmark visit to the island, and his not so bad salsa moves, there is still an elephant in the room. Trump is reversing the US's policy with Cuba, alongside US-born Cuban politicians like Senator Marco Rubio that has advocated strongly to not normalize relations with the island. Finally, the most important task for the 57-year-old Miguel will be to prove his legitimacy at the helm, being the first leader of the country who is not part of the Cuban Revolution. Adios, comandante.